Yes, sir, Ski.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. What's up, my brother?
That's another day, bro. Welcome to the Wealth Talk podcast. You feel me? It's a good episode for y'all, man. It's good to see you, my brother.
You too, bro. You too, bro. We here for another one. You know what I'm saying? We
Yes,
got
sir, Ski, man.
another debt diary in the cut.
Facts. We got another debt diary, man. And today, y'all, with this debt diary, we're gonna use real life stories to teach you what actually make up a credit score. You feel me? And how to use the way it's made up to build your credit score correctly.
Facts. Facts.
Yeah, man. It's gonna be a good time, man. Most biggest thing y'all gonna take away from today though is that most people really don't know why their credit score is low, why it's not going up, why it's going up slowly compared to when it was lower. It used to go up dumb fast. We're gonna explain all that. We're gonna explain the top five pieces that comes along with what makes up your credit score and what can break your credit score. You feel me? So anything credit score you better learn today in the next 20 to 30 minutes. It's gonna be a vibe.
Yes, indeed. That's a hot topic nowadays. I know people tune in. They about to tune in. Get your pen and paper ready. Just you to definitely use this in your everyday life. And with that being said, we got to put a disclaimer out there. So this podcast is only for educational purposes, and we're not financial advisors. So please don't sue us. We're just sharing a game so you can make better money moves. All right, family. So do what you can do. Listen to this podcast, take some notes, and please do your own research after this. All right.
Yes, Sirski. After that, we gotta get into our money mindset moment. So, for y'all that don't know, the money mindset moment is our positive affirmations that we do every episode to bring positive wealth. Feel me? We got, see that joint. You feel what I'm saying? Affirmation type vibes. So, today, our money mindset moment is credit loves consistency. I'll say it one more time for y'all, man. Credit loves consistency. And that's a bar, man, because we would think of credit and we go over all the parts that makes up credit. It's actually really facts. Like, that's the number one thing you need to do is be consistent with credit.
That's it. You gotta be disciplined.
Sirski. All right. So, for debt diaries, today, for y'all that don't know, our debt diaries, when we use these real stories, we create real solutions towards these stories revolving around credit, debt, etc. And today we got Reggie. You feel me? So, Reggie, he a young bull, just graduated. And during his time throughout college, he missed a couple credit card payments. You feel me? He was wilding. He was in the club, popping bottles with his roommates. You feel me? And we all been there. Teed up. Feel me? Hey, we had our time. We had our times. He got a maxed out store card. You feel me? He was at the root. He was at what was that? The designer store called? The damn He was that goddamn. Damn, I forget the spot name, but he was in the designer spots. He was in the Gucci, the Louis, all that. He got maxed out store card over there.
Sex.
Alexa, you feel me? He got two credit cards overall, and one personal loan, and he has a new car loan. Now, the problem with Reggie is he wants a better apartment, and he wants to get a better car, but he keeps getting denied for both. So,
Yeah, we're gonna get you right, my boy.
gonna get you right. Facts. Before getting into the resolution with Reggie, of course, we gotta go over the factors that pretty much affected his credit score and how they affected it, so that way we could get to the solution. You feel me? So, the first thing we talked about was he missed a couple credit card payments. You feel me? And that's number one. The number one thing with credit is 35% of your score is made up of your payment history. You feel what I'm saying? So one missed payment can drop your score like 60, 80 points, something crazy. It makes up the most of your credit score. You feel me?
Facts. We see it all the time, bro. That's usually like the number one cause when people do see their credit score take a hit, because they probably missed a payment or they did something that they thought was super simple and not a big deal. It ended up being a big deal to their score, though.
Yeah, bro. It happens a lot more than people think. And when we say miss a payment, y'all, we don't mean like you're a day late or an hour late or something crazy like that, or even a week. In order to have like a late payment, you need to be at least 30 days late. So he got one, which is rough. You feel me? That's tough to come back from. Late payments are one of the harder things to dispute when it comes to credit. But it also ties into the next thing that, in my opinion, is the most controllable thing that you have, but a lot of people sleep on it, and that's credit utilization, bro. So I know, yeah, bro. Like we spoke about earlier, Reggie got a maxed out store card. So meaning that with that store card, he's maxed out his credit utilization with that card at 100%. You feel me? So if he got $500 on that card, that's the max limit. He spent the total $500 and hasn't paid back on it yet. And that alone makes up 30% of your score. So that's one thing Reggie can't control. You feel what I'm saying? Late payments happen. Yeah, we get it because, there are times people forget, don't put on auto pay. But credit utilization, that really goes back to budgeting. That's the core of finances. You feel me?
It is, bro, and that's such a big deal. I mean, there's only certain situations where it's like, all right, I can see why you maxed out. Let's say you wasn't working, you needed to use your credit cards as much as you could. But if you're just doing nonsense, you just shopping, going out to eat, going to the club, then that's when it becomes like, all right, that's on you, bro. There's no excuses for that. And that's one thing that we always talked about when it comes to that consistency and that discipline on how to keep that utilization down.
Absolutely, bro. Because, shoot, that alone making up 30% of your score. On top of that, payment history making up 35%. So, those two right there, that's 65% of your score right there. The shot.
Oof.
That's a lot.
It hurts. The other one they got is the length of the credit history, which is 15%. Oof. That, it may not seem like a lot, but family, it means something.
Facts. It really do, bro. That's the one people sleep on a lot.
Not for real, bro.
That's my fault. I was just gonna say, I know when people see like their grandmas and their grandpas and their aunties and all of them having like 800 credit scores, it be because of this for real.
Real talk. And a lot of people, we even went to school with some kids that had 800 credit scores. I'm like, how you did an 800 credit score? And that's because they was on their parents' credit card, or their parents got them a credit card fresh out of high school, or even when they was babies, you know what I'm saying? And they was just blessed getting into that age. So that credit history is real.
Fact. Them kids had me tight. I ain't had that. Where my authorized user, you feel me?
It's fine. I had to work hard for that.
God, I was slaving for this score. Lord.
Talk, but that's the good thing about the credit history is like when you look at it from like the banking and their perspective, they're saying that the longer your history is, the more trust that they'll have in you. So it's a big deal to them.
That's a fact. And that kind of hurt Reggie as well because, I'm assuming Reggie just graduated school, so he probably was in school for 4 years. And within those 4 years, he got 2 credit cards, a personal loan, and a new car loan. So that means, like, every year, if he were to get a new product, it shortened his length of credit history that much more. So that's also affecting the score as well.
It's different. It's hard to change. You can't go back in time and do yourself a credit card.
Sure. Oh, God, I wish. Man. ChatGPT need to make a time machine. I need that.
Soon. No, you stop.
Next, y'all, we also have the little pieces that a lot of people don't factor in when it comes to their credit reporting, and that's credit mix. Credit mix actually makes up 10% of your score, and what it means pretty much is it's different types of accounts that you have on your score. On your report. You see what I'm saying? So, in Reggie's case, he got 2 credit cards, a personal loan, and a car loan. So, in a credit report, if you were to go through his actual credit report and see what he has, it'll say he has 2 revolving accounts and 2 installment loans. The 2 revolving accounts being the credit cards, and the 2 installment loans being the car loan and the personal loan. And that's actually one thing that's kind of helping Reggie because he's showing that he can have different types of debt. And I guess you could say manage it. He's not really managing it, but he has different types of debt, so he has a good different mix. You see what I'm saying?
Bro, I mean, the credit mix is definitely big. You don't see too many like young people with too many different types of loans, so that could help him out in the future once he gets all of that utilization and some of his situations under control.
That's a fact. Even just utilization, he'll be good. Credit mix is actually a strong base to have for sure. Lastly, we got new credit, which makes up 10% of your score. And this one, people tend to overestimate because this is pretty much just hard inquiries. You feel me? Now, For those who don't know what hard inquiries are, they're pretty much when you go to a bank. Let's say Mike's a bank. I go to the Bank of Wolf. I'm like, yo, Bank of Wolf, I need a credit card. For me, he's like, all right, bet. Bank of Wolf is going to go to the credit bureaus and tell them, yo, I need to get a credit report for D-War. And they're going to go, the credit bureau is going to be like, oh, bet, okay. So D-War is trying to get more credit. Let's put a hard inquiry on his report to show that he's seeking credit right now. That's pretty much what it means. You feel what I'm saying? And a lot of people tend to think, oh, hard inquiry is just the worst thing in the world. But in reality, they only take away, like, I think maximum 6 points, 7 points from your score. So they're not that deep. You feel me? Now, don't get me wrong. You don't want 100 of them, because that doesn't look good when you're going to get lending from another bank. But new credit isn't that crazy, but it is still important for sure.
Now, that's real. I mean, it's pretty simple. Not simple, but it isn't the worst case. You know what I'm saying? You know, too many of those, it's not like you're going to mess up your whole entire credit score. It's still like a situation you could get out of easier than, let's say, utilization or credit history, the age of your history. But nah, I mean, that's a good little breakdown for everybody to know. So I just go over that one more time for everybody, so that way you can know payment history is 35%, credit utilization that's 30%, length of credit history that's 15%, credit mix that's 10%, and your new credit that's another 10%. Altogether, that makes up 100% of your credit score, family. Now, you know, with that being said, I know some people was wondering, like, how is Reggie supposed to get out of a situation? So they may need you to go a little deeper for them credit guy. Like, if you could break down how Reggie's score got wrecked, like, what really happened here, bro?
Yeah, bro, it started really with the late payments. You know what I'm saying? Them late payments definitely hurt, and they're one of the hardest things to dispute because the banks track your payments. So, like, they can say, hey, you've been late here, you've been late here. It's one of the hardest things to dispute. That's why I say it's one, I would say, the worst thing that could happen on your report besides bankruptcy. Just because it's hard. Like, it's harder to get off a charge-off than a late payment, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? But overall, though, with Reggie, I think it started off there. But the biggest thing that I think is the most common in people's story overall is the credit utilization. Because with credit utilization, his store card is maxed out at 98%. Like we said, yo, that's 30% of his score right there. So, you know, in order for Reggie to get anywhere, I would say starting you off, if he wants to get his journey to rebuild his credit, I think it's going to start there, because that way, if you pay off all utilization, you'll see a drastic increase in your score in a short amount of time, depending on how much you're allocating towards your debt. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, bro. And for credit history, it looks like he actually closed out his oldest card, because he did the thing that a lot of people tend to do, is they'll close their oldest account because they want to clean up their credit. They want to make it look a little better in their eyes. But in reality, exactly, bro, because like we said earlier, when grandma and grandpa got 800 credit scores, they got that because they have a card that they had for like 30 years, and that's the oldest card. So when you delete that from your account, now all of a sudden you may have 5 years instead of 30 years, and that's going to lower your score as well.
What about, like, the credit mix?
Credit mix, he has mostly revolving credit, you know what I'm saying, because he had two credit cards, you feel what I'm saying. But like we said earlier, he also has the 2 installment loans with the personal loan and the auto loan he has. So credit mix wise, he's doing okay. He's doing okay. It's just about getting what he has under control for sure.
It's just 10%, and then the other 10% is a new credit. Like, how did that affect him?
He got 2 recent inquiries because he tried to get the apartment, and he tried to get you remember he was trying to get another auto loan. So that's 2 recent inquiries right there. But honestly, it's 12 points off your score, but it's bigger fish to fry. You feel what I'm saying, with the utilization and the late payments that he's facing. I think that sucks, but there's other ways to negate that once you focus on the big fish first.
Okay, that makes sense. So basically, Reggie gave the credit score algorithm 5 reasons to say, nah, big dog, we can't take you.
Words bond. He was wilding, bro. And That's what be happening when you got young kids in college who got access to credit, bro. You feel me? Like they get their first Chase card, they Capital One. You feel me? And they go into the Saks. That's what I was thinking about, bro. Saks. They go into Saks first. They go to the section. They booking the section on their card. They getting bottle service on their card. They getting they partner, a nice birthday gift, or they going out on a trip in a hotel to Italy or something. That's how it happens, bro. Now they got 5 reasons to say nah. Where's Bond?
That's wild. That's wild. I mean, it all makes sense. It definitely still sounds like, it's not the easiest fix, but he could get out of this situation by just putting a little bit of work. But obviously, in order to get out of that situation, you need to have a plan. So, like, if you was in his shoes, what's a step-by-step action plan that you'll take for fixing Reggie's credit?
Sure. If we're talking just Reggie's credit, bro, the first thing I would start off with is I'll set anything on auto pay. You feel me? So his car loan, his credit cards, his personal loan, need everything on auto pay because we do not want another late payment. We're not going to dispute the late payment yet because it's important to set the foundation first when it comes to things like lowering utilization. You feel me? So that's going to be the next step after setting up the auto pay. We're going to work with Reggie's budget and cut out all the expenses that he doesn't need and allocate most of his money towards his credit cards using the snowball method that we talked about before in other episodes to get down his utilization at least down to 9% minimum. I say 9% because that's really the threshold where you'll maintain the most amount of points regarding utilization. A lot of people say 30%. In my opinion, that's a myth because you miss out on a lot of points on your score when you're at that 30% threshold. But with 9%, you can still maintain an 800 or a high 790 with the 9% utilization. But with 30%, you're not going to see that. You feel what I'm saying?
You're like kind of pushing it a little bit, right?
Yep, you're pushing it a little bit. Now on top of that, at 30%, you're going to get eaten up on interest. You feel what I'm saying? If you have that for a long time.
Yeah. No, that's a good point. Okay, that's a bar.
What else Reggie could do? Don't close no more accounts. He bugging.
Yeah.
You feel me? For real. But I get it though, cause there be people out here when we first started, I got 10 credit cards. I know you was wild. You had more than me. Where's Bond?
Yeah, I got bad cards.
Bad cards, but that's just how we had to do that to financially literate and all that. But I understand people don't want that many cards, but at least just keep your oldest one. You feel me? Keep that. If you want to get rid of the other ones, sure. But at least make sure the ones you do get rid of are the ones that are the newest, so that way it doesn't affect your score as much. You see what I'm saying?
Leave it alone, Reggie.
I swear, Reggie, you get me tight.
Okay. Is there anything else?
I would say no more new applications. Don't apply for nothing new. At least for the next 6 to 12 months. Because one thing with hard inquiries that people may not know is that after 12 months of having, let me explain further. Let's say I went to Wolf Bank, I got a hard inquiry, I got the credit card yesterday. So 12 months from yesterday, that hard inquiry will not affect my score anymore. And then 24 months from yesterday, when I got that no hard inquiry, it'll completely fall off my report. So in this case with Reggie, you want to just consume all the points you have and make sure you can keep everything in. So don't apply for nothing new for 12 months. Wait for those hard inquiries to not be affecting your score anymore. Then maybe we can consider getting into something new if needed. You feel me?
Okay. Damn. All right, Reggie. Hey, you heard it here, family. Twitter guy has spoken, man. It wasn't too complicated at all. That made a lot of sense, and it definitely seems attainable. But I feel like it definitely goes back to the money mindset moment that we said, which is credit. It involves consistency. So if you don't have that consistency, the discipline, the willpower to just do what you need to do, you ain't gonna be able to succeed. But if you just lock in for that 12 months, maybe 18 months, then you'll get it back right, and then that's you in a better position.
That's a fact, bro. That's a fact, and it's good to I hope it's good that Reggie's going through this now because a lot of people get in scenarios like this and think bankruptcy off rip. But don't get me wrong, but bankruptcy is like it's pretty. I want to say valuable tool, but it's definitely something that makes America America. Cause you could pretty much it's like a restart button. You see what I'm saying? But with bankruptcy comes destroying relationships, and you don't want to do that if you got a good relationship with American Express or a good relationship with Chase. You don't want to do that. You see what I'm saying? So Reggie going through this now before he makes the big bucks. He's gonna be alright.
Yeah, that's real talk, bro. And I think we should definitely just go over like some of those main things that we spoke about, just so y'all can know exactly what those topics were. If you want to just write this down, but obviously late payments are still the number one credit killer. So family, if you can, please, please, please put on your auto pay. Now everybody's financial situations is different. We totally understand that. But if you have a card that's, $25 a month and you can afford that, you got multiple that's doing that, if you could put aside, the McDonald's, the Biggie bags, the pack of cigarettes, you trying to buy 3-5 every other day, if you could put that aside, you could put that aside, family, and focus on what's important for your financial future, then it's attainable, but you got to be disciplined like we talk about all the time. So that's the number one killer. Number two, credit card debt. They hit record highs, and the utilization rates are climbing. Let's say, I think we got a little stat for y'all too. 35% average utilization as of April 2024, and that's from Investopedia. So most of the people out there that have a 35% average of utilization on their credit cards. That's pretty high, bro.
Man, that's mad high. You know what I'm saying? And it goes back to budgeting, bro. It goes back to living below your means and knowing what you can afford or what you can't afford. You feel me? If you got high balances, bro, you're gonna get killed in interest. Killed, bro.
No, real talk. And especially now, like, financial literacy is such a big thing. And most millennials out there with high credit scores are applying for fewer cards. And I think that's a good thing, you know what I'm saying? Because I think that a lot of people are starting to become a little bit more educated on the fact that of how their credit scores are affected, you know what I'm saying? But, don't be like Reggie, man. Please, family. Credit is not a mystery. It's math to it, and it's also based on habits. So if you can, master the 5 pieces that's the most important to your credit score, and you have the control over your score. You can't be pointing the finger, looking around, it's because of this, because of that. You have to look in the mirror. When life starts life, we understand that obviously, your score can take a hit because you have to do what you got to do. But when you just living life and you just spending, splurging, using money that really don't belong to you, that's when it becomes a problem. That's when you got to really look in the mirror, family.
That's a fact, bro. And you hit it on the head. The hard times do come. Credit goes up and down throughout your life. Control what you can control, man. You feel me? So, if y'all got anybody who got 550, 500 and try and get in that S-Class 2025, you know what I mean? Tell them come holler at us, bro. You feel me? Because we can work with you, but your mindset got to be there, bro. You feel what I'm saying?
It has to, bro. It has to. And don't be afraid to send this video out, family. Just share it to somebody, and you're not sharing it to throw any shade, but just educate them like, yo, this is something I've been thinking about. I want to get my credit score right again. And it comes to us being educated, to us asking for help, and us not being afraid to, be vulnerable in that type of way. Because it usually starts when you're trying to keep it a secret that your credit score is messed up, but that you're in a bad financial situation, and you don't want to ask for help, or you feel like your pride is going to be hit if you try to seek out help. And that's what we're here for, family. We've been through it as well, which is why I think the Jump Off is here. And that's the only reason why we do videos like this today, so that way we could help prevent people from getting in these situations, or help people get out of those situations.
Bond. That's why we cook for y'all, man. At the end of the day, man, that's what we do, man. Y'all hit us up. We outside.
We outside, family. Hit the like button, subscribe. You know what I'm saying? Let us know we could do better. But it's the Wolf, Credit God. Appreciate y'all, family.
And Sarsky.